Hi, I'm Kat and Elizabeth. Today's video is going to be all about hiring your friends to be your wedding vendors, whether they are professional or not at all. I feel like I have to say, this video is more intended towards those of you who have a friend who's actually a professional with an established business than it is for a friend who's like, hey, I like photography, let me shoot your wedding. Because personally, I feel like having a friend do a significant part of your wedding and they're not a professional, they don't have the experience or skills to do the wedding, I feel like that's a huge risk. If you're somebody who wants a great quality and you want like great service at your wedding from your vendors, I honestly cannot professionally recommend that you hire a non-professional. It is a huge risk. Maybe they'll do a great job, maybe they won't. I would never take on that risk because like my photography, I wanted a professional. I wanted a professional for every single thing on my wedding day, but it is up to you. You know, you can take that risk. You might not be happy with what you get. You might be happy. I just feel like that's too big of a gamble for your wedding day, which only happens once. So when it comes to hiring your friend who is actually a professional, there are definitely horror stories where it did not work out, whether it was the vendor who did not give the couple what they were supposed to give, or they just kind of slacked off, or where the bride or groom were just really nasty and took advantage because of the friendship. So I've heard bad things from both sides. So you're probably wondering, how can I make sure that hiring my friend who is a professional is going to work out? And that is exactly what I'm going to be talking about today, because there are ways to make sure that it is going to work out and be really fantastic. I've shot a couple of my friends' weddings and it's worked out really well for everybody because of the way that we structured things and because of my experience and professionalism. So we're definitely going to go through that today. But first I want to take a quick break to tell you guys all about the Wedding Hacker Expo. So the Wedding Hacker Expo is an online wedding planning conference for brides and grooms for anybody who's looking to make the most of their wedding budget, whether that's big or small. So it could be a $5,000 budget or it could be a $500,000 budget. But basically the main focus of this is to provide couples with information and resources so that they can successfully plan their weddings on the budget of their reality. So they have a bunch of different sessions. I am a speaker for this event, which is really exciting. Now, I will say that my topic didn't really talk about saving money on photography, but it did talk a lot about how you can really make the most out of your photography. Most of my clients are not DIY brides, they're not lower budget brides, they are a little bit higher end, so that's what I am geared towards. Whereas my YouTube videos, I do try to make them sort of universal. I make sure that I cover a little bit of everything whenever possible, but this conference is focusing pretty much 100% on getting the most of your budget and being really budget savvy when it comes to making sure that you're spending wisely, whether you have a little or a lot to spend. So there are a bunch of different sessions that walk couples through one specific topic that helps them plan their wedding within their budget and start their marriage without going into debt. So the conference itself has all sorts of different vendors speaking, even podcast hosts like Bridechilla. I have been on Bridechilla a couple of times. I'm going to be coming on the show again a few more times this year, which is great. So if you guys are a fan of Bridechilla, she's going to be speaking. Alicia, so excited to see what she has to say. Jamie Wolfer is also going to be speaking. I know a lot of you found me through Jamie, so that's super exciting as well. We also have people who are experts on relationships, personal finance, in addition to all of those different really wedding specific type speakers. So I'm super excited about this. It's going to be on August 17th and 18th. Again, it is online. I'm going to leave a link down below where you can actually sign up. This is free. There are upgrade options, but you can sign up completely for free and attend the conference and really just get the most out of it and have a lot of fun with it. So I think it's something that you all should be signing up for. And if you're not available on the 17th and 18th, I believe if you do upgrade, you can watch it literally anytime you want, which is fantastic. But if you can catch it on those two dates, then you can definitely watch it for free. So anyways, I will leave all of the information down below in the description so you guys can go check it out. I think it's going to be so fun and I am very, very excited for my session to air to all of you guys. Jumping back into our actual topic of the day. So if you're wondering, Kevin, how can I hire my friend to be my photographer and have it work out? Because again, like you mentioned, I've heard really bad things from other people, whether it's online or a friend that you know. And the first answer is to treat it like a professional relationship. Yes, you're friends, you might have a really great rapport with each other, but if you are slacking off or cutting corners on the professional aspect of it, that's going to get you into trouble whether they're doing it or you're doing it. So yes, both people can contribute to the failure of hiring a friend as a vendor. The first thing you guys need to make sure you have is a contract. I never shoot somebody's wedding without a contract. I don't care if they're my best friend in the world or if they're a stranger that I just met over the phone call. Everybody has a contract. It is always the same, except for when it talks about what's in their collection that they are purchasing, but everybody always has a contract. The contract is to protect the couple and the vendor. So there are provisions in my contract that ensure that if the couple randomly is like, we're just gonna cancel our wedding, we want our money back, well, you can't get it back because I've turned away business for that date. We signed an agreement. I could have made other money on your date and now I can't. But there's also things to protect the couple, like when they're going to get their photos. That's a huge thing I see online is my friend or my photographer hasn't sent the photos. It's been 12 years. Is this normal? And I'm like, that's not normal. Okay, that is not at all normal. Check your contract. And they're like, well, we don't have a contract. And I'm like, there you go. There's a contract in place for a reason. It is to protect you, to make sure that you get everything that you were supposed to get from that photographer, the photos you're getting, your package, your coverage, your printing rights, whatever it may be that's included. That should all be spelled out in the contract. Over email is okay, but it really needs to be in a professional contract that is really reviewed by a lawyer, to be honest. I have all my contracts reviewed by a lawyer. That is the way to go. They are foolproof and they protect me and the client. So it really works to make sure that both parties are going to be happy and both parties are protected because, you know, there's a lot of horror stories about vendors, but there's also a lot of crazy couples out there who will just really like destroy a vendor, and having a contract in place makes sure that's not going to happen. And then having that contract for the client ensures that the vendor is not going to take advantage of them or that the vendor is actually going to provide what they say they're going to provide. So that's a really long-winded answer to say have a contract. I don't care if they're a family member, have a contract. If they're giving out contracts to their other clients, you should be getting one too. And if they're not giving out contracts, I would be very wary to book them because you would never know. I've heard stories of people's best friends like just disappearing and never sending their photos to them. Like, you don't want that to happen, so please have a contract. Now, the next one is to make sure that you are still treating this like a professional relationship. So make sure that you're not doing business over text. That's really not the right way to go. Most photographers and vendors I know won't do official business over text. They will only do it over email or a phone call, and then they'll send an email follow-up with whatever they discussed on the phone. Another part of professionalism that I want to mention is that, you know, you might be thinking they're my friend, they're gonna hook me up, they're gonna give me a discount, blah, blah, blah. That is something that should not be expected. If it is given, it should be a pleasant surprise. You can maybe ask, hey, do you have any family and friends specials? And if they say no, not really, just say, okay. They're probably gonna really go above and beyond for you anyway as your friend, as someone who knows and loves you. But thinking for sure that you're gonna get a discount just because you're friends is a very entitled way of thinking. So I would just not expect it. Just have it as a possibility in your mind, but know that it might not happen, and that's okay. This is their livelihood. This is how they pay their bills. They might not be able to give discounts out to people, but again, just think that that's gonna be a nice surprise if it happens, but please don't expect it to happen. This has to be a fair relationship. The last thing that I want to say about this is if you are on the fence about hiring your friend, ask yourself why. Do a little thinking. Is it because you're worried that they might do bad for you or something like they might take advantage of you? Well, again, have the contract. Maybe that can solve your problem. If it's because you kind of don't know if you really want them to do your wedding, but maybe they offered, they've been a little pushy, please don't do them a favor. If you don't actually want to hire them, please don't hire them. Don't do them the favor of giving them your wedding just because they've offered. If you want somebody else, please, like, make yourself happy. This is your wedding. You only get to do it once. You can tell that friend, hey, we've already hired someone, or hey, you can blame it on your fiance. So they have somebody else in mind that they're really drawn to and I'm gonna let them have it. There's a number of things that you can say because you don't want to have hired somebody just because they reached out and you feel obligated simply because they're your friend. That is not the thing that you want because you might not end up being happy with it. And the worst thing from a wedding is having regrets about your own decisions after the wedding when you could have gone a different way. So please don't do this person a favor if you don't absolutely love their work and want to hire them. That is not the way to go about it. It's not rude. It's not at all rude to not hire somebody for your wedding just because they're your friend or your aunt or your uncle or your cousin. Please do what you want to do for your wedding and make the right decision for you. To recap, the first thing was I would not recommend hiring somebody who's not a professional to do your wedding. Could end up really, really badly. The second thing is to make sure that you have a contract in place. The third is to treat this like a professional relationship, even though you are friends or family. And the fourth is to make sure that you're not expecting freebies from them. They might not be able to give them out, so please don't feel upset if they're not able to give you discounts. I'm sure they're still going to do an amazing job for you, and the fact that they're your friend, you're going to feel more comfortable on the wedding day. And the last one is to make sure that you're not hiring them simply because you feel obligated to. Again, you do not have to. If your mom is pressuring you or somebody's pressuring you, just tell them, have an honest conversation. Say, I really would rather not hire them for this day, or I would really rather hire this other person that I have my heart set on. So just be honest with everybody. Again, like, don't compromise your wedding to avoid hurting other people's feelings or to do other people favors. Your wedding is not the time to do somebody a huge favor. It's the time to do something that represents you and to do what you want to do for your own wedding. Again, the Wedding Hacker Expo is going to be on August 17th and 18th. All of the information you can find via the link down below, and you can sign up to attend the conference for free or upgrade to get all of the nice extra perks if you'd like to do that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!